Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Good evening. I thought I'd give you a few little anecdotes from when Beth and I got married and what's involved in doing that. Just one or two things. But first of all, just to tell you that part of the process of getting married in the Philippines is that they, for one thing, the Filipina who is getting married to a foreigner has to go to a little talk on that. And they teach the Filipina how to be married to a foreigner. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall in that one. But one of the questions that was in my questionnaire about getting married was, it talked about how the man is this came during the seminar that Beth and I had to attend, where we were educated by someone about being married. One of the things that they talked about was how to handle rejection, and I thought then that there's a lady, and she is the one that's instructing, and she's telling us that quite without any shadow of a doubt or fear of contradiction, she's telling us that men handle rejection easier than women. So it got me talking, my inside voice, and I remembered a book that I'd written on writing, and it was called The First 5 Pages. You might want to read this. It's a fun book by Noah Lukeman. And it was a writer's guide to staying out of the rejection pile. Well, nowadays writers don't have that problem of staying out of the rejection pile. And anyway, we're really talking about the experience of getting married. But in this book, it has a rejection letter that was sent to a writer called Louis Zukowski, and he wrote a book called A. One sure way to get at the top of the list, and it's to write your book and call it A. But anyway, he submitted his manuscript to a Chinese publishers, and they returned his manuscript with this letter, and it said, "Most Honourable Sir, we perused your manuscript with boundless delight, and we hurry to swear by our ancestors we have never read any other that equals its mastery. Were we to publish your work, we could never presume again on our public and name to print books of a standard not up to yours. For we cannot imagine that the next 10,000 years will offer its type. We must therefore refuse your work that shines as it were in the sky, and beg you 1,000 times to pardon our fault, which impairs but our own offices." Signed, the publishers. So I thought that even for me, with my my love of dry humour, that was pretty wonderful. So what happens when you go to get married? It was a long drawn-out process for those who are contemplating getting married in the Philippines. So I'm not going to go blow by blow, but a typical thing that happened for us was, unlike Dwayne and lovely May, who among their they had a civil wedding which we went to first, and that civil wedding was held in the mayor's office, and the mayor actually was very personable, and he did his best to make it entertaining and nice, and to mean something. And then when photographs were taken, he actually orchestrated the whole thing. He got friends. He got friends in first, and he got mothers and fathers, and he just did the whole thing, and he did it with a smile, and I was in much admiration of him. Unlike ours, who actually seemed as if, well, he didn't. Well, he seemed a little confused and a little dazed by it all. So it was not a wonderfully rewarding experience, even though ever since I've remained extremely grateful for that thing. Well, when we applied, we found that we had to do certain things which were quite unreal to me. We had to go and we had to answer a questionnaire. I think it was a questionnaire of something like 200 or 300 questions. And the one that made me think of the Chinese rejection letter was, it said, how on dealing with rejection, it may not always be that the wife is interested in having sex. What would some of those things that you could do instead that would make sense to you? And it was a multiple choice question. And the one that seemed the most dominant was, go and watch television. Which I can just imagine, can't you, putting your arm around your wife in the night and having the cold shoulder and saying, oh shoot, I'm going to watch some television. I wonder what's on television. So that was one of the things. We went to the seminar, which was an hour-long seminar, and we got there, everybody was on time, and we're waiting. A very mixed audience, not too many foreigners in there. It seemed like maybe 3 or 4, including myself. And so we're waiting there, and a man comes in first. Oh, by the way, we waited for 2 hours. We were kept waiting for the thing to start for 2 hours, and then the man came in, and he, a youngish man, came in and he lectured us on being married, and made some good points. And then another lady who was something of a comedian, not always funny, but something of a comedian, and she actually picked people out of the audience to answer difficult questions. And one of her things was, she actually seemed quite ridiculous to me, and she said, well, I'm addressing the men now, if you have a penis, could you stand up? I thought, I waited 2 hours for this, so I didn't get up. She pinpointed me and said, excuse me, sir, you have a penis? And I was so tempted to enter into the game, but I didn't. And she said, could you stand up if you have a penis? You do have one, don't you? And demanded an answer. So if you're going to get married, you've got that to look forward to. So if you have a penis, go it the easy way, stand up. So that's my little blurb on getting married. It's not easy. There's a lot of running about to do. There's a lot of, if you have an age gap, there's a lot of questions that have to be answered. Now here's something that I did notice about the official government way of doing things, and that is that they will look at what you have, and they look at it, and they go down to all the questions. This will be a lady in a small office, and no computer in sight, and she will say, okay, now you've got to have, and then she'll mention some form that you need, and you didn't know about this before you went, so what you do is you do the obvious thing. So if we bring that form 123, is that everything that you need? And she'll say yes, and of course you'll say, now ma'am, we have to come from another island of Bohol, and here we are in Cebu. Are you sure that there's nothing else? Absolutely not. You bring this in, and we'll go. So off you go. You go home, you get the form, and you come back the following week probably, and you present all of the paperwork. Sure, somebody, not the same person, looks through the paperwork. Maybe this is how governments all over the world work. Okay, well, it's almost complete, but you need form 456. But we brought form 123, and we were told that that's all that we needed. Well, yes, you do need it, but you also need form 456. Now, you know what I'm going to say. Now, ma'am, is that all that we need? If we bring in form 456, will that be everything? Absolutely. And you don't believe it a bit, but what can you do? Off you go. Somebody once said to me, never get irate with a government official, because they can simply say, I'm not going to deal with this now. You'll have to go to Manila. You don't want to have someone tell you to go to Manila if you're living in Cebu or on Bohol. So that's my little thing on dealing with the rejection in marriage. And yeah, if you're going to get married, just get the TV, or get the Philippine equivalent of the TV guide. That's my advice to you. Bye for now.